इंटरनेशनल अफेयर्स ऑफ दिस यूनिवर्सिटी, जितने लोग विदेश जाने में रुचि रखते हैं, फिर मुझे किसी तरीके से मौका मिल जाए तो डॉक्टर पीछे लग जाना। एक ही लगी थी मेरी एडवाइस थी, ठीक। और भी वहाँ रूपल मैडम भी हो आई हैं। जिन लोगों ने अप्लाई किया, दैट्स वाज काइंड एनफ कि उन्होंने सीएबीएम के स्टूडेंट्स को भी उसमें एकोमोडेट किया। नहीं तो सीएबीएम वालों को लोग आमतौर पर सर एंटरटेन नहीं करते हैं। So you are kind enough that you entertain our request and let these two students visit France for about a month. ठीक है ना? तो जितने लोग वो डायरेक्टर्स इंटरनेशनल अफेयर होने की वजह से तमाम सारे प्रोजेक्ट्स, नेशनल इंटरनेशनल प्रोजेक्ट्स भी इनके पास आते रहते हैं। और बायोडाटा इनका 25-30 पेज का तो होगा ही सर। आपका कम है, ज्यादा होगा?
आधा पेज
ज्यादा होगा बायोडाटा,
आधा पेज
नहीं, वो आधा पेज तो मैंने बोल दिया।
बस बहुत हो गया।
बस
Anyway, thank you, Professor, for elaborate introduction. Yeah, it's an opportunity. This program itself, okay, is an international program. It's under a Global Initiative for Academic Network, because through this program we are going to join world faculty or teaching you. Okay, I think those who are already joined that GAN program. So that professor is from Purdue. Okay, and he is a professor in that Purdue University, that's in United States of America. It's a well-known university and it's highly ranked in terms of ranking and other things. Okay, so that facility government is funding. Your government of India is funding to invite that professor over here, and he is spending almost 2 weeks along with you. Okay, those who are participating, and you will be happy to hear his lecture also. His knowledge he is going to transfer it to you. Okay, so that facility you got it, and yeah, this is just one of the facility or one of the program like that. I think few of them they attended other programs also. They are from different universities like Washington State University that we conducted somewhere during April or so, and this is the second program which we are conducting. Yeah, you will be exposed to different types of atmosphere. As you are aware, particularly you people, you are from particularly agri-business management people, you should be exposed to the world atmosphere so that you can manage your things, whatever that field may be. Specialization may be agriculture, specialization may be finance, accounting, human resources, or your personal thing may be. Okay, so those things, how to manage and other things, that also you will come to know. In addition to that, as you are aware, some of your senior students, they already had been to France. Okay, so 2 examples are here, and I think many more will come shortly. That's what I am expecting from your College of Agri-Business Management, and they are exposed to almost a month or so to entirely different atmosphere, different world. Okay, it's an European Union, because Europe's culture is different, Europe's habits are different, the terrain is different, climate is different, that they could experience over there. And yes, they are taken care of. They hosted our students for 30 days, and they yeah, there will be a language difference was also there, because our language is English or Hindi, but their language is not even English also. Generally, they are in French or France. So I don't know how they communicated, and they managed within a span of just 30 days. They could make a friends, okay, and they are exposed to different atmosphere or different world itself. Okay, so that sort of opportunities you people are also getting. You can try. I think you people are in the second year or third year or first year, whatever that year may be. Okay, so that you can think it of in future also. There are some opportunities. Even now also some volunteers they require it. If you are eligible, you can apply. Okay, so that sort of things are existing. It is related with our international initiatives, particularly from Pantnagar University. There are many other programs that because I don't want to waste much of the time, because I need to, I've been given to talk about this water. Okay, as the name itself indicates. Okay, the title is hydrology. Okay, hydro means water. Okay, logy means science. Okay, logy means science. water science we are doing. Water is a general subject. Agriculture वाला भी चाहिए पानी, irrigation वाला चाहिए, civil engineer. Without water you can't survive over there. Okay, for your health, for your existence. Okay, so after here, okay, yes, water is required. So water is a basic thing which is required not only for human beings, it is also required for plants. It is also required for animals. Okay, that's why I am saying water is in general, it consists of all the specializations. Yesterday I was showing it to you uh, about that schematic diagram. It is also related with mathematics, it is related with chemistry, it is related with physics, okay, it is related with management. Yesterday we were talking about greenhouse management. Yes, greenhouse means plants has to grow in controlled growth. Okay, so how to control that water? That's what our topic or my specialization. That way, I'm just linking water management is required. So for that one, we need to know something about the water. Okay, without knowing the water, you can't do it. Okay, so that's what we are saying. So yesterday briefly we talked about hydrology, because water exists in three states. It is in solid state, it is in liquid state, it is in vapor state. So today itself you can see outside. Okay, water is in liquid stage, it is falling from the atmosphere on the surface. That we used to call it as simple precipitation. Okay, and that precipitation may be in different formats. Okay, today whatever you saw it, it is just a rainfall only. It is one form of the precipitation. Like that, there may be a drizzle. Okay, there may be a snowfall, there may be a haze. Okay, like the different forms of precipitations are there. Yesterday we discussed some of those forms. Okay, particularly the precipitation. Okay, so let us move ahead little bit today. Okay, as we can see the title over there. Okay, hydrology, hydrometry. Hydrometry means, so you saw the water today is falling and it is flowing on the surface of the earth. So how much water is flowing? Okay, metry means measurement. Water measurements I need to do it. What to do? Okay, बाहर बारिश आ रहा है एंड पानी जा रहा है, आप कैसे मेजर करेंगे? Okay, how to measure that water? That is my topic of interest today. That I will explain to you in brief. Okay, of course, you can refer any of the textbooks which I am referring. References are there, and you can refer it in detail. Particularly because I am going to details of that mathematics and statistics, because most of you may not be aware of mathematics and difficult equations, etc. That I will not go in detail, but I am just guiding you in general how to measure the water in the field. Okay, so you can just see the beautiful figure over there. Okay, it's an one of the region from Uttarakhand itself. Okay, so and it is particularly in that area, it is very difficult to access over there. How to move to that place? वो भी इतना ज़्यादा बारिश आ रहा तो आपको जाना ही मुश्किल. I think you might have heard. Even I think yesterday Haldwani Nainital road was blocked. You leave about Chamoli and other things. Okay, even Dehradun and Mussoorie also there was some lot of disturbance over there because of the heavy precipitation which is occurring. Okay, yesterday I told you how do you differentiate even rainfall also, because there was an announcement heavy rainfall is expected on 4th, 5th, 6th, like that. They used to predict it. India Meteorological Department's Dehradun division, they predicted, okay, yeah, heavy rainfall is expected for another few days. Okay, that's what you could see. They predicted yesterday, it has happened. Okay, rainfall is happening, and even in other areas also. And I was also telling when this rainfall occurs, okay, and what is that intensity? Is it heavy or medium or low intensity? And when you are calling it a low intensity, etc., that we saw it yesterday. Okay, so again, I am just interested in the water which is flowing in that area. Okay, there is a small stream which is flowing, and many small streams will join together. Okay, and they will become bigger streams, and bigger streams will join together, then they will become a smaller river, and many small rivers like your Gola river, okay, or maybe some other rivers, okay, they will join and they will become a bigger rivers. Okay, I think you know where that two rivers will join, two or more rivers will join. We used to call as confluence of rivers. Okay, where they will confluence of rivers will be there. That we used to call it as Sangam. Okay, even in Uttarakhand also there are, particularly in Garhwal region. Okay, you will find 5 prayags, Panch Prayag. You know, कौन सा है बताइए, एक 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 हाँ हाँ हम्म यस वन मोर और बहुत सारे हैं बट 5 प्रयाग्स आर फेमस एंड कैन समवन can you highlight which are those rivers which are confluencing at that place? Yeah, please. हाँ which is that prayer? Okay, next prayer. You can start from nearest to the farthest or farthest to the nearest, so that all, because most of you are from Uttarakhand only, so they will be having an idea. Okay, if some general question comes in case of your maybe some UPSC or UPSC or UKPSC, so they should be aware. It is general question, nothing to do with any of the technical or scientific thing. Okay, because it is just like an science, or you can say people science, we can call it, or public science. Okay, so you should know which are those 5 prayags which are existing in. You said that, yeah, 5 prayags are there, fine. Okay, there are many more prayags also, but 5 are important. And which are the confluencing rivers? I think one of them, batai.
One is Pindar.
Pindari is joining where? Alakananda and Bhagirathi. Okay, they will confluence at a place called Devprayag. Okay, Devprayag is a place where 2 rivers, Alakananda and Bhagirathi, will join. Next Prayag, please. It's fine. I think some of you might have visited Devprayag also. और ऋषिकेश से नजदीक हो जाता है. Any next one? देवप्रयाग हो गया. It's a general question. Nothing. Yeah, as you said, Alakananda is common to all the prayags, particularly here. Okay, which are the other prayags? Alakananda is one river. Devprayag, she told, or he told. Which are the Alakananda and Mandakini? Which is that prayag? Rudraprayag. Just see, Rudraprayag is a confluence place where, as she said, Mandakini, it is one of the hostels name. Am I right? Alakananda is another hostel. Alakananda and Mandakini, okay, they will confluence at a place called Rudraprayag. Alakananda and Mandakini. So most of your hostels are named after those rivers only. Okay, you see the how that naming has been done. Actually, there was a big joke even for IIT Madras also. What they did, okay, for hilly places like mountains, they kept they have a local buses in their campus. So for them, they kept the name of the mountains. But for the hostels, they kept name of the rivers. Actually, it should have been reversed, because rivers are moving like buses are moving. Okay, hostels are stationary. Okay, they should have kept mountain names. This is a big joke, even though they are technical and science people. You can say the general things. Same is the case with Panthanagar also, probably. Okay, all the hostels have been named after rivers, like your Alakananda, Mandakini. Hostels are not moving. Okay, but you named after those rivers. Okay, हाँ नेक्स्ट दो प्रयाग हो गया, तीसरा अलकनंदा, हाँ next is Vishnu Prayag. She is saying Vishnu Prayag is Alakananda, that is common, okay. Then Dholi Ganga, okay, it is further upstream of that one, okay. Dholi Ganga is a river, relatively smaller, but Alakananda is the main course, main river, okay. I am saying the main, so I will come to that a little bit later, why I am calling it as a main, okay. Alakananda is a big river comparatively compared to Dholi Ganga, okay. That is known as Vishnu Prayag. Next, yes. So she is saying Nandakini is another small river that will join to Alakananda. Nandakini. Nandakini and Alakananda will be meeting at a place called Nandaprayag. Yeah, one more.
Pindar and
So Pindar river is there. Okay, it is Karnaprayag. That is Alakananda is the main river, and other river, small river, will join at that place. That main river, main course of the river. So that will come. So like that, you just see based on the quantity of water and also to just identify those flow. Okay, so these rivers have been named as it's a confluence place. Like that, I think you know famous. They are all two rivers only are joining. Okay, can you name one more, or where the three rivers are joining? Yes, you are right. She is saying Ganga, Yamuna, Saraswati. So these are three rivers which are joining at a place called Prayagraj. Okay, Prayagraj, and note that two rivers are the main rivers, Ganga and Yamuna, Jamuna, whatever you call it. But Saraswati river is a hidden river. Means water will not be visible, but the history says, or you can say research says, that was the biggest river earlier. That was even it was covering. It starts from Himalayan range only. It was covering Rajasthan, okay, Madhya Pradesh, and those areas also. That was the studies, scientific studies also. That is river searching and GS studies have been done. They said that it was a huge river. It's bigger than Ganga. That's what they say. Okay, and all these three rivers, they will join at a confluence space called Prayagraj. Still, you can find that प्रयागराज कौन देखा है? हाँ, उधर सरस्वती रिवर किधर है? वो I think some of you had been to that fort probably. Okay, now it is occupied by army people. Okay, so within that there is a well, old well is there. They are calling it as a Saraswati Kund. Okay, so the water is coming from the bottom, that groundwater we used to call it. Okay, so that is representing Saraswati river. Okay, which also originates in Himalayan range only. Okay, so like that, there are three rivers are joining at that place at Prayagraj. Three rivers. Okay, two are main rivers on the surface rivers, and yesterday I was saying subsurface flow. Okay, in case of Saraswati, it is a subsurface flow. That is below the earth's surface, water is flowing, and that is a very good example is Saraswati river, and that will join at your Prayagraj. Okay, this is three rivers. Even at Theri also, you know Theri Dam. Any of you are from Theri? There are one more Prayagraj confluence place is there. Which is that? It is just upstream of Theri Dam. Yeah, exactly. So Bilangana is a small river, Bilangana, and of course Bhagirathi originates from your, because Ganga we are calling it only after Devprayag. Before that it is Bhagirathi only. So Bhagirathi is the main river. It originates somewhere near the Gomukh glacier, if I am right. Okay, and later on, okay, that Bilangana river joins just upstream of the Theri Dam. Okay, at the confluence of those places, Theri Dam has been put up, and because of that, that reservoir has been formed. So this is just a brief idea about the Uttarakhand's water resources and I am saying, I think now you know what do you mean by a confluence of many streams or many rivers. Not necessarily two, it may be more than two also, as I said, Prayagraj. Okay. So, in that way, uh, to identify which one is bigger, which one is smaller, how much amount of water is flowing in your stream, how we can utilize that water for your purpose. Okay, because finally you need to manage the things. Water management has to be done. Okay, so how to do it? Yes, you know, you should know the data, whether that water which you are providing it for plant growth, is it sufficient or is it excess? If it is excess, you need to stop that one and you need to control the water which you are going to feed it for a plant. Okay, and then not only controlling, you need to provide the water as per its need, because plant will grow, okay, under controlled conditions. Okay, what is the control? Yes, you need to do it. Water is one of the parameters which you need to consider it for controlling the that parameter. Yes, you should have the knowledge of this water, and you should know how much water is coming or going or how much it requires. For that purpose, yes, you need to study this one. Okay, in this hydrometry, as I said, how to measure the water, and the water is in different cases. It may be a water may be flowing in a pipeline, it may be a open flow, it is exposed to atmosphere, it is open flow or open channel flow, we used to call it, because there is no channel here, it is a natural drainage, natural terrain, water is simply flowing. So, how to measure this water? That is what today's discussions which I am going to make it. There are different methodologies, some of them are traditional, some of them are old, and some of them are new, modernized. That only I am just discussing in this thing. Yeah, just those who are not there, some of you are not there yesterday. I am just saying this hydrological cycle. Okay, we used to call it as water cycle also. Okay, water means it exists in all the formats. We can just see the various components which exist over there. So water falls, it is falling outside. You can just see, it's a very good example. It is falling in the form of a rainfall. Today it is rainfall, but at some places, if you go to Himalaya, it may be in the form of snowfall. That is also a water, but that is in solid form. This one is in liquid form. Okay, that is possible. Or even sometimes it may be a haze. Okay, it may be a drizzle. Yesterday we discussed about those small, how to differentiate drizzle, rainfall, heavy intensity rainfall, medium intensity, low intensity, and when you are calling it as haze. Okay, so those things we discussed. So that precipitation is one form of the one component of this hydrological cycle. It never ends. So we are saying we are having a water shortage. Water is neither it is created nor it is vanished. Water is same only, same amount of water will be there in the globe or in the sphere. Only thing is, water falling at one place may not fall after 1 hour or may not fall at different place. Same amount of water, where we require water, we are not getting the water. That's why we are saying, okay, water management has to be done. So there your case will be there. Management aspect has to be integrated with technical things. So you can just see that Delhi, I think to yesterday or like that, it is submerged at some of the places. Okay, particularly from airport to, they are all low-lying areas. They are filled up with water. Why Delhi? You take the case of Ayodhya. You take the case of Prayagraj or even Banaras. They are using boats to move on the surface. Roads have become boatways. Okay, so that thing is happened. That is the difficulty which you are facing in case of your water management. That's why we need to manage that water. And as I said, water which is moving above the ground, okay, that we have to we can control or we have to control it. That's what water management has to be done. So that's why we should be aware of these various components which are there. Okay, and another component is evaporation. Okay, evaporation because of the energy, generally solar radiation we are getting naturally. So water evaporates to the surface, from the surface. Okay, it may be a water surface, it may be a land surface, okay, or it may be through the plants. So if the water evaporates through the plants, we used to call it as transpiration. Okay, water transpires means water evaporates, okay, through the plants. That is, the water will be sucked by the roots, okay, and through the stem, through the leaves, water will be evaporating. That water we used to call it as transpiration. Those who are from science background, yes, they are aware. Transpiration, that is the terminology. Similarly, water, note that we are not only storing the water on the surface, but we can store the water below the surface also. That's possible. Yeah, there are in many countries, even in India also, we have a groundwater storage or groundwater dams, we used to call it. Huh? Not tanks, below the surface I am talking about. Okay, tank is a surface storage, but below the surface also, okay, we can store the water in the aquifers, we used to call it. Okay, so we are storing the water, and whenever we are require water, we are using that water, maybe by pumping or maybe extraction. That wells will be there, open wells, closed wells, bore wells, etc. We are taking the water from those groundwater storage. That is possible. Okay, because soil consists of pore space. That pore spaces needs to be filled up with water. Okay, so that water we are extracting. And note that groundwater is a long lasting water which is available at the place wherever you require it. Suppose if you want to water here, yes, you can store it nearby here only. But surface water, it is not possible. You can't store it around the CABM. No way. But groundwater you can store it and you can extract it because you require water here. You don't require water in the other places. Okay, so that's possible with this storage. And of course, infiltration means water enters into the ground surface, that we are calling it as infiltration place. Okay, and runoff, we can just see runoff is water is flowing from one place to another place. Okay, here some science is involved. Okay, when the water flows, how much water is flowing, that we have to measure it. So that's what this hydrometry represents over here, because the water which is used for your management of your greenhouse, particularly GAN people, okay, yes, you need to know the how much quantity is flowing, how much water I need to provide it for the growth of that plant. That's why I need to have it, how to measure it. And of course, this is just a you just see, I think most of you are from Uttarakhand, you know what there will be a transport of water, precipitation occurs which falls on the hillocks, and that will flow on the surface of the earth. Not only on the surface, below the surface also water flows, and this entire thing is known as hydrological cycle in general. Means water is not stationary, okay, it is rotating, okay, from one forum to another forum, or maybe one place to another place, and the solid, liquid, gaseous stage, that water may be there. So note that you can just see, I just said that what is the difference between transpiration, evaporation, okay, and then condensation, okay, and also when the water droplets will become heavy, they will fall on the surface of the earth because it can't be there in the atmosphere. So when it will become heavy, they will come down. And note that this atmosphere, yesterday I was talking about, okay, it is not above few kilometers. That's why, okay, flights are moving above the clouds, not in the clouds, not below the clouds. Okay, that aircrafts, they are generally more than 5,000 meters or maybe around 30 to 40,000 feet they will fly. Okay, that's why, because it should not be disturbed, or the turbulence will not be there, okay, if it moves above the clouds. There clear sky will be there, so there will not be any issues. Not that, what do you mean by stream? I think we just now discussed different types of rivers, or you can say different rivers we named after them. What do you mean by simple stream? Here is an example. Okay, stream is a channel, okay, where we are taking water from the area. Suppose this room is there. So whatever that rainfall or precipitation falls within this area, okay, that will be collected and that will be moved out, okay, and this is known as basin or catchment area or drainage area. So entire room's water will be collected and it will be flow through this outlet, okay, and we can measure that one. How much amount of water is flowing, that we can measure it, and the water when it flows from that end to the air, that is known as a stream. Okay, different orders of the streams will be there, that I am not discussing in detail, okay, but you should aware. So note that generally flow is measured as meter cube per second or cubic meter per second, means एक सेकंड में कितना वॉल्यूम और कितना लीटर्स, okay, water will move at an outlet. That is the way how we are going to measurement. Okay, so in either meter cube per second or cubic, both are same. Similarly, in case of FES system earlier, okay, we used to call cusecs. Cusec means cubic feet per second, because we were ruled by Britishers. That's why that is still in practice in some of the irrigation departments or some of the agencies. Okay, cusec they used to call it. So many cusecs of water has been released from the Bhimgoda barrage. They used to announce like that. Okay, so that's a world system. Okay, cusec, but latest means that is system international. We used to call it SI system. Okay, it is CUMEC only. We have to measure it, and that is a universally accepted world level. They are using CUMEC only. Okay, so this is the stream. You just see. Okay, the water, you can measure it. How to measure? How much amount of water is flowing? Okay, so you may ask me why to measure. Okay, suppose just for example, you want to develop hydropower. Power, whatever that electricity is there, you want to generate. So for that, how to generate? Yes, there is a hydropower plant also. Like you are, I think some of you might have heard Kalagad Dam. Kalagad na कौन सा वो? रामनगर के पास कौन सा है dam? Or you can take a Theri Dam itself. Okay, so there your electricity will be generated. Electricity will be generated by water. Okay, so how much amount of water is flowing in the Bilangana or Bhagirathi river, that we have to measure it, because power developed, okay, power developed depends upon amount of water, okay, and also cross sectional area. Cross sectional area is fixed, so only the amount of water is changing. Okay, that's why we need to measure how much amount of water is flowing in that stream or in the channel or river that is required. I just gave an example, hydropower generation. Similarly, for all other purpose, like for irrigation, different crops are there in our crop resource center, different types of crops. So each area, okay, or whatever that the plant may be, it requires water. How much amount of water is required? That he needs to calculate it. Okay, based on the requirement, he needs to supply the water. Okay, so how much I need to supply? I must measure, no? Without that, it is not conducive, because I want my plant to be grown in a very good way. Just ज़्यादा पानी छोड़ दिए तो ऐसा नहीं होगा. That is not correct. Don't release water in excess of their requirement. The plant will not grow. I think those who are near Haridwar, Bajpur, what is that area? Bijnor, no? Bijnor. So that area, excess water will be available. लोग सोचेंगे फार्मर्स, मैं पानी ज़्यादा छोड़ दिया तो मेरा ज़्यादा यील्ड आ जाएगा. नो, दैट इज नॉट द केस. Okay, whatever that requirement for that crop is there, that only you need to provide it. Excess water, no way. Don't put any extra water even in your gardens also. Okay, don't पानी मिलता है फ्री से पकड़ से बस पानी छोड़ दो. No, that is not acceptable and that is not suggestible also, because plant will not grow even if it is excess water is there. So that's why we should know, or we should measure how much amount of water I need to provide it, okay, and how much I am getting. So those things you need to manage it in your usual cases. Anyway, uh, so I was saying, okay, uh, unit of water, how we are measuring the water is, just see, either liters per second or in general cubic. Cubic means how many meter cube of water, okay, is flowing per second. So in short we are calling it as cubic. Okay. Sometimes irrigation and some Britishers, they are using cubic. As I said, it is cubic feet per second. Okay, वो एकड़ use करता है ना, acre foot. Okay, so that is old system. As once again I am just repeating, since we were ruled by Britishers, still some of the departments, government departments, they are following cubic. Okay, so you should know you must use cubic rather than cubics as per the SI system or system internationally.